Hello everyone, today I'm watching There Are Thousands of Alien Empires in the Milky Way by Kurz gesagt.
What if there are thousands of alien empires in the Milky Way, each spanning a few to maybe tens of star systems, chatting, trading, sometimes shooting or ignoring each other politely? And if so, why is nobody visiting us? While the Milky Way is ancient and gigantic,
In theory this is all possible, but well, there's no way to confirm if there actually are aliens.
Years. But we haven't seen anybody yet. So it seems we're alone in the Milky Way. But this idea is built on a lot of assumptions. Usually, when scientists speculate where all the alien civilizations are, they assume technology will progress to a point where colonizing all of space becomes kind of easy. But what if we're thinking about this the wrong way? What if the universe is full of life, but no matter how technologically advanced you are, space is never easy? What if aliens slowly crawl through space?
I mean, if you think about it, you can't go faster than the speed of light,
the only data
right?
point we have,
so
ourselves.
Let's say there are aliens
in the galaxy.
60,000 light years away.
Oceania
it's going to take them a long time to get here.
Thousands of islands scattered across millions of square kilometers, separated by an unforgiving, deadly sea. Kind of like a galaxy. Some 5,000 years ago, the first people set out to colonize Oceania. Especially the Polynesians achieved mind-blowing feats. Without any modern technology, they set out into the vast nothingness, hoping to find a new island to claim.
That is a good comparison, actually.
Die, far from home. But most of the Pacific islands are
just a
massive
archipelago,
corals, maybe some
or just random islands in the middle of the ocean. It is kind of like space, in a way.
Others with more vegetation are often hostile, lacking the resources to really sustain a lot of people, and remain uninhabited even today. And then there are the good islands. The Polynesians colonized them, spreading their culture and society to dozens of remote islands of all sizes. Some united in kingdoms spanning many islands, others were independent, many home to competing and belligerent tribes. And although thousands of kilometers apart, even the most remote islands were connected with at least some trade and exchange. A microcosm of humanity. But it didn't always work out. The extremely isolated Pitcairn Islands were settled for hundreds of years and relied on trade with each other and bigger islands hundreds of kilometers away. And then the local population vanished. We don't know why.
Oh.
Maybe because the islanders did the human thing and ravaged the natural resources until they became unsustainable.
They just died out,
Maybe the decline on distant bigger islands severed important
I mean, if it's an island, a small island will not be able to sustain itself for long. It's only a matter of time before you run out of all your resources.
A hostile place that's hard to conquer. Would alien civilizations spread like the Polynesians? The universe is kind of a horrible place. The Milky
You have to think
Way
about
has
it.
around 200 billion star
We
systems,
only
and
survive
it
on
seems
Earth
that
because we're
almost all of
protected
them
from the
have
sun's
planets.
radiation.
Estimates vary.
Other
but there may be
planets
some
don't have
300
that.
million to
They're not
tens of
protected from
billions of
radiation
rocky
because they don't have
Earth-like planets in the habitable
they don't have
zone
an
around a
atmosphere.
star where water
Could aliens
liquid.
survive without an
Amazing.
atmosphere? What even is an alien,
Except
really?
that most of them are terrible.
What if
Hells of
aliens are just
lava,
humans as
dead
well?
frozen worlds,
Except on a different
bare
planet.
rocks, sterile from
That's
radiation,
possible.
blanked by toxic atmospheres. It's easy to forget, but Venus and Mars are Earth-like too. Mars is the next human frontier and fairly exciting. But Mars dust is poison, and deadly radiation and low
Humans
gravity
would
will
not be
make
able
you
to
sick.
survive on Mars.
Mars is
It would
the
be
worst.
incredibly
Except
difficult to settle.
Venus is even worse, crushing you to death, burning and dissolving you in acid. If humanity was really motivated and had the resources and energy, both could be terraformed within maybe 1,000 years. We showed how in other videos. But the thing is, we already have a planet that's pretty great, so currently, humanity's motivation is not very strong. Now, let's think about this in terms of galactic expansion.
Humans
If the
also
Milky Way
focus
is like a
on
vast
stupid
ocean
stuff.
full of islands, most are
We
planets
fight
like
between each
Mars,
other, so
Venus,
colonizing planets
barren
is
rocks
just
or corals
not something
where nothing
even...
grows
There's no
and
point
the
thinking
elements
about it,
kill
you know?
Imagine boarding a generation ship to travel for 100 years or more, only to arrive at a new star, and then you get a Mars. Or worse, a Venus. What a letdown. terraforming them is such an intense investment in terms of resources to make it worth spending the time to travel to the stars for bad planets. Maybe the simple reason we don't see galaxy-spanning civilizations is that the economics just don't add up for almost all of the star systems out there. But wait, you might say it's actually easy. A high-tech race with unlimited resources could automate this process, sending thinking machines that report back every few thousand years with new planets ready for
the question
fresh
is, would it be worth it though?
Ships with embryos.
Would it be worth it
But
to
if
just
it were that
colonize
easy,
a bunch of
someone
planets
would have
which...
done it by now.
I mean, for some planets might just be
either
too
we
difficult.
are really alone, or it's not easy. Thinking about alien civilizations, you need to make loads of assumptions. And for this video, we're assuming that space is hard even for high-tech civilizations that have broken free from the limitations we have today. Now,
I mean, space would be
things are
hard
getting
for
exciting.
anyone. Doesn't matter
So
how
what
high-tech
if
you
alien
are.
civilizations actually ignore the bad islands and just pick the very best? Stringing together island empires like the
That is the
Polynesians.
most logical thing that you
Thousands
could
of
do.
galactic empires.
You would ignore
Every star
the
moves in its own orbit through
terrible
the galaxy,
planets because
and
there's no
most
point
stellar
going after
neighborhoods
them.
are only temporary. At any given time, in some regions there will be more good islands than in others, while simply because of bad luck, other regions will be pretty isolated. Earth might currently be in one of these backwaters, surrounded by really bad islands for dozens of light years in all directions. We may be Pitcairn Island, so isolated that nobody knows we're here or cares to establish a colony so remote.
That could also
Elsewhere
be a
in the Milky Way,
possibility.
good islands may be more common. There it would be relatively easy for a high-tech civilization to jump from one good star system to the next, creating connected empires. Strings of worlds, with all the adventure and challenges of expansion, even to really good planets. Do they need to animate dead worlds with oceans? How do they cope with alien microorganisms or strange ecosystems? Do they need to burn it all down and create a mirror of their home world, or do they adapt? How many centuries do they need to make a planet truly their home? Empires expanding in regions full of good islands would probably meet each other. Maybe they trade, maybe they fight, maybe they have coffee and chat about the meaning of it all. And just like some of the Polynesian islands, it's likely that many
It's
of these
interesting to
planets
think about
would
that.
be
What if
abandoned
we,
or for
what if
the empires
Earth
to
is in a
break apart
terrible
for a
spot?
number of reasons.
And that's why
First of
no
all,
one wants
most great
to
neighborhoods
find
would
us.
dissolve over time, and connected islands would become remote. Then it just may be the nature of civilization to become unsustainable or self-destructive. Humanity is extremely young, and we've already flirted with extinction. There are numerous existential risks, cultural, technological, and environmental, that any civilization has to deal with. And smaller colonies on new planets would likely be less resilient than their home worlds and in bigger danger of dying out. Whenever this happens, this would leave a good island free
I mean,
again
yeah, the
for others
further
to
away you are
rediscover and
from
colonize. It's
your main
fantastic.
planet,
Also,
the harder it
space
would be
is
to get
just a different
resources,
ballpark. The
supplies,
enormous distances
help
between
in case
stars
of an
make it hard
emergency.
to maintain a
That's why
consistent
it would be so
civilization.
difficult
Just think
to
about how many
colonize
cultures
Mars,
we have on Earth
because
alone.
if something
Imagine if
happens,
sending a message
you're not
between
going to be able to send help.
continents took decades to
Whoever's in an
Would
emergency
colonies care what the home
will
world
just
wants from
die.
them if it can neither help
And they
nor
won't be
really
saved.
enforce its will on them? This also would make interstellar war, except the genocidal kind, completely uneconomic. Would you go to war with someone because their great-grandfather killed yours? At these distances, it's
I
not
mean,
like
humans
anyone
do
could
that
easily
all the
sneak up
time.
on each other anyway. And
We
on a
go
much
to
more
war over the
fundamental
stupidest
level,
of
if
reasons.
island empires don't exchange relevant amounts of genetic information, if there are no hookups between worlds, sooner or later, these populations will develop in different directions and eventually become different species, making it less likely that they'll want to be under common rule. So the idea of enormously big, connected empires may just not be feasible if the galaxy is an ocean where good islands are few and far between. But this also means that new civilizations may pop up constantly, spread and partially or completely die out, even if just by splitting into different factions. Islands may be recolonized and abandoned over and over. What would this mean for us? We might think we're alone only because we're on an isolated island right now. But there could be thousands of worlds full of diverse civilizations elsewhere that we would eventually drift closer to. Does this
It's
make the
interesting to
Milky
think
Way
about.
more
I mean, if
scary
there is
or
someone,
less
if there is aliens who can
have time to get our act together before we face
terraform planets,
or is it a great tragedy
and take them over? Why would they want to come to us? What do we have to offer them? There is nothing we could give them that would be worth their time.
When you look up at the
Absolutely nothing.
Hopefully,
what have we achieved? We can't even colonize any other planet. So,
a bit more about the universe every day.
If there are aliens who can,
we might spot a good island,
and who have
if we're lucky,
colonized other planets,
they
wouldn't even care about us, would they? Because we can't do that. We have nothing to offer them.
One huge problem we face as a species is that we can't agree on what's going on. There are loads of news media, but most of them tend to frame reality through their point of view. And worse, they're trying to get your attention with the most alarmist take, distorting reality further.
Okay, so yeah. This is just...
News, the sponsor of this video, helps you navigate our biased media.
Okay, so that's enough of that. Yeah, personally, I don't believe humans will ever start colonizing other planets. I just simply don't believe that to be possible because we focus way too much on unimportant matters here on Earth. We are constantly at war with each other over the most stupid of reasons. We cannot agree on anything. Humans are just way too divided. The only way to start colonizing other planets would be to achieve world peace, which doesn't exist because there's no such thing as world peace. That's just a fantasy. It's impossible for something like world peace because there will always be someone who wants to fight and who doesn't agree with everyone else. So unifying all of humanity is impossible, which means going to space and colonizing other planets will probably be impossible, which means we will probably never actually see if there are any other species out in the universe colonizing. We'll never find out if aliens actually exist unless they come to us, which probably won't happen because we don't have anything to offer them, so it would just be a waste of their time. Another thing to think about is if humanity will even survive that long. It could take 1,000 years, 5,000 years, who knows how long to actually terraform a planet. Is humanity going to survive that long? You can't guarantee that. Humanity could be destroyed at any point in time by a random astrological event. It could be a solar flare, could be something else, could be a giant asteroid that we somehow failed to detect. Or even if we do manage to detect it, how are we going to shoot it down? We don't have that capability yet, I don't think. Or maybe we do, but probably not. If humanity wants to survive for an incredibly long amount of time, we will have to eventually start conquering other planets, because Earth is not going to last forever. But I still just don't believe humanity will survive anywhere near as long as Earth because, well, we're probably gonna, let's be honest, we're probably gonna kill each other before the sun explodes. Yeah. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment. The link to my Discord server is down in the description below, so you can check that out if you want. And I will see you in the next video.